Hi guys, good morning. Online people, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Guys, in the last session, we discussed about what is build and deployment. So as a developer, we will write the code and we'll store in the GitHub. Then operations team need to take the code from the GitHub. They need to compile and package that code. They need to do the code review by using Sonar. They will upload the artifact into Nexus and they will create Docker image for our application. They will create Docker container. So this is build and deployment process for our applications. This kind of a build and deployment process, they need to do every day at several environments. Application development will happen, then it will be tested in the dev environment, then it will be tested in the SIT, UAT, pilot and prod. As they are going to maintain multiple environments, multiple times they need to do the build and deployment process. So it will take a lot of time and there is a chance of doing mistakes, right? So to avoid these problems, we are going to automate the build and deployment process. Earlier, people used it to perform manual build and deployment process, but some risk is involved in the manual build and deployment process. So that's why we are going to automate build and deployment process. To automate that build and deployment process, we are using Jenkins. So what is the purpose of Jenkins? Jenkins is used to automate build and deployment process. Jenkins is a CI/CD software. CI/CD nothing but continuous integration and continuous deployment. This is Jenkins software developed by using Java, right? So Java language is used to develop this software. So to run the Jenkins, Java is mandatory. So Jenkins server runs by default on the port number 8080. Tomcat also will run on the port number 8080. Jenkins also will run on the port number 8080. So we can run the Jenkins in our Linux machines as well as in the Ubuntu machine. So in the last class, we have seen how to set up Jenkins in the Linux machine. So to install Jenkins, first we need to take one Ubuntu machine in the AWS cloud. Then we connected to that machine by using Mobile Extram. We added Jenkins key. Then we have updated the packages. Then we installed Java. Then finally we installed Jenkins, right? So once after, in these two commands are extra, I think so. Yeah. So sudo apt get update, install Java, then finally install Jenkins. Once we install the Jenkins, we can access that Jenkins server by using public IP address with 8080 port number. For our EC2 instance, security group will be available in the AWS. So by using that security group inbound rules, we are going to enable the port number 8080. So colon 8080. So with this, we are able to access our Jenkins server. We are able to access our Jenkins. So let me log in into Jenkins. Forgot my password. Right. I'm able to log in into my Jenkins server, right? So once we log in into Jenkins server, we can see Jenkins dashboard, how many jobs that are available in the Jenkins. So we created jobs and we are able to execute them. So now in order to create the jobs here, there is an option called new item. New item option is available. When I click on that option, I'm getting several sub options here. Do you want to go with the freestyle project? Do you want to go with the pipeline? So if it is simple build and deployment process, we will go for freestyle project. If you want to perform complex build and deployment process, like you want to integrate SonarQube, integrate Nexus, integrate Docker, integrate Kubernetes. So if you want to do real DevOps CI/CD pipelines, then you will go for pipeline option. So as a developer, if you want to practice Jenkins build and deployment process, then you can go for freestyle project. Now, if I go freestyle project, it is asking the name. I'm creating Spring Boot job. Okay. So Spring Boot application job I'm creating. I'm creating this as a freestyle project. Click on OK. Fine. Now here, there are several options available. If you see the menu, general, source code management, build trigger, build environment, build step, post build action. So there are several options available to create our Jenkins job. So if you go to general, so what you want to do for this build, you can provide some information. This job is used to automate build and deployment. This job is used to automate build and deployment. The next one, coming to source code management. So where is your project source code? Project source code will be available in the GitHub. So we are going to select the Git here. Go to our GitHub repository. Go to GitHub repository. Take our application which is available in the GitHub. Source code available. Now here there is a application with a Spring Boot Docker. Spring Boot Docker application is available. So take the Git repository of that application. Give that repository URL here. When you are using the repository, if it is a public repository, we no need to provide the credentials. If it is a private repository, we need to add the credentials. What is your Git repository username and password? So if it is private repository, we need to add the credentials. If it is public repository, credentials are not required. My project source code is available in the Git repository. Then in that, what is the branch you want to take? We discussed about Git branches. Multiple branches will be available. What is the default branch? Main. Now, from which branch you want to take the code, you need to specify that branch name. If it is a master, you can specify the branch name as master, but currently my branch name is main. Next one. After source code management configuration is completed, then build trigger. So build trigger nothing but when you want to execute that job. Do you want to execute the job automatically, or do you want to execute the job when the code is modified in the GitHub? So here there are three options available. We can run the job manually. In the yesterday's class, I have used build now option. When I use build now option, the job execution will start. That is called manual build execution. And there is another option called build periodically. Periodically means if I give 5 stars cron expression, then that job will execute for every minute. For every minute my job is going to execute. If I keep H here, it is going to execute the job for every 1 hour. For every 1 hour, automatically my job is going to execute. That is called build periodically. I don't want to execute the job for every 1 hour, because if there is no code change, what is the use of executing the job? So when I need to execute my job should be executed when there is some code change in the repository. For that, there is an option called poll SCM option is available. Here I am going to specify 5 stars. What is the meaning of 5 stars? Every minute. So here poll SCM means every minute it will check the repository. Is there any code change? Is there any code change? If there is a code change in the repository, then it is going to execute the job. If there is no code change in the repository, job is not going to execute, right? So like this, you can specify build trigger. Currently, I am not giving any build trigger, but you know the concept. What is the build trigger? What is the build trigger? Build trigger is used to execute the build. When that build should be executed, we are going to specify. If I don't specify build trigger option, what is the meaning of that? Manually we need to run that job. Perfect. Next one, build environment. So do you want to delete workspace before the next build starts, right? Do you want to use some secrets or files to do the build execution? Add timestamps to the console output. Okay. Terminate a build if it is stuck. If the build is not able to execute completely, do you want to stop the build or not? We can specify in the build environment. Next one is build step. Build step means how you want to do this build. Okay. So I'm going for build step. How you want to do the build? Do you want to execute Maven goal for the build? Do you want to execute Windows batch command? Do you want to execute a shell script? Do you want to execute some Gradle script? How do you want to execute the build? I'm going for invoke top level Maven targets. What is the meaning of top level Maven targets? Now I want to execute Maven goal. How to execute the Maven goal? Clean and package. Okay. Then next one, build step is completed. I'm telling to execute Maven goal for this build process. Then next one, post build action. What is the meaning of post build action? Once your build is completed, then what do you want to do? If it is a normal web application, once a build is completed, we need to deploy the war file to the Tomcat server, deploy to container. We need to specify Tomcat server details in order to execute that build process. I think in the video I have explained that. How to add the Tomcat server, how to install the plugin, how to deploy the war file to Tomcat server. Now, sometimes I will go for email notification. Once my build is executed successfully, I want to send the email to the team saying that project build got completed successfully. So like this, we can specify post build action. Post build action means after build process completed, what do you want to do? After your project got packaged as a jar file or war file, what you want to do? That is called post build action. Okay. So do you want to archive the artifact? Do you want to store in the Nexus repository? Do you want to build some other project? Do you want to publish JUnit report? Do you want to record fingerprints of the files? Do you want to do git publish, email notification, editable notification, git commit status, status commit, delete workspace? What you want to do, that you can specify. Currently, I'm not doing any post build action. Just I'm executing build step as clean package, apply and save. All right. Now go here. Job got created. Go to dashboard. So you see Spring Boot application job is created. There are several options available. Configure. Configure option is used to edit the job. I have created the job and I want to make some changes to the job. I want to change the branch name, or I want to change the build trigger. I want to change the Maven build step, or I want to change a post build action. That you can do by using configure option. So configure means to edit the job. Next one, build now. What is the meaning of build now? It is used to execute the job. Now go here, click on build now. So you can see build history. Currently no builds available. Nothing but Jenkins job is not executed as of now. Whatever the Jenkins job we created, that Jenkins job is not executed as of now. No builds available. Click on build now. When I click on the build now, you see here the job is getting executed. Build number 1 got generated. Go to console output. You can see how that build is getting executed. Build started by this user. It is taking the code from the GitHub repository. Then it is executing the Maven goal, clean and package. Then it executed Maven goals. Finally, it is saying build success. So what is the meaning of build success? Our jar file is packaged. Our project is packaged as a jar file. Where is that jar available? In the machine. In the Linux machine, Jenkins is running. In the Linux machine, in this location, our project jar file is available. Our project jar file is available. Just we have done the build process. Now I want to do deployment process. What is the meaning of deployment? I need to run my jar file. I need to run my application. Are you able to follow this? I want to run my application, right? So here in the real time, whatever the job we created, that job will be created as a pipeline. Pipeline, nothing but set of steps. First step, take the code from the GitHub. Second step, do the Maven package. Third step, create the Docker image. Fourth step, run the Docker image. So we are going to create a Jenkins pipeline. Pipeline, nothing but set of steps to perform build and deployment process. So as of now, we created Jenkins job. We just created Jenkins job for our Spring Boot application. Coming to pipeline, how they are going to create the pipeline. So here I'm going to take 01 pipeline job. Pipeline job. So I have selected freestyle project. Now I am going for pipeline option. Click on OK. So here pipeline description, Jenkins pipeline for CI/CD. Now here there are several options available for that. Advanced project options available. Pipeline option is available. Currently we don't have a pipeline. I want to write that pipeline. Whatever the pipeline we are writing, that is a Groovy script. The pipeline that we are writing is a Groovy script. So click on Hello World pipeline. Okay, if you want to go with GitHub, Maven, so they are giving all the options to perform this. I want to go with sample pipeline. I want to go with Hello World pipeline. So if you observe, the pipeline syntax will be available like this. So pipeline, nothing but set of stages. So what is the first stage? Hello. What are the steps here? What you want to do in that stage, that we need to specify. So here, first let me specify clone repo. That is one stage. Then coming to next stage, I will specify the next stage as Maven build. Next stage as a Maven build. Echo cloning repository. Cloning repo. Second stage is Maven build. Third stage is create a Docker image, build image, build image, build image, Docker image creation. Docker file is already available in the project. Then once the image is available, what is the next step? Run the image. Run image. Nothing but create container. Basically, I can say create container. Container creation. Container creation. Now, if you observe in the job pipeline, there are multiple stages available. What is the first stage? Cloning the repository. Second stage, Maven build. Third stage, build the image. Fourth stage, create the container. Click on apply, click on save. With this, my pipeline job is created. Pipeline, nothing but set up stages. Every stage is responsible to perform one action. First stage, take the code from the GitHub. Second stage, do the Maven build. Third stage, create the Docker image by using Docker file. Fourth stage, create the container. That's it. Now, here, there is an option called configure. What is the meaning of configure? Edit the job. So currently, any logic available in the pipeline or dummy steps available? Currently, dummy steps are available. Let's run this. Click on apply, click on build now. I'm running my pipeline job. Okay. So go to this pipeline job. Pipeline job. First pipeline job is executed first time. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. There are multiple stages available. June 27th at 10:28, my pipeline job is executed. What is the first stage? Clone the repository. What is the second stage? Maven build. Third stage, build the image. What is the fourth stage? Create the container. So as of now, in this job, if you see the console output, just dummy steps are available. Cloning the repository. Okay, doing the Maven build, creating the Docker image, creating the container, finished the job with a success status. But now I want to write the real logic in the pipeline. I want to write the real logic in the pipeline. So first stage, if you see the sample stages of the pipeline, if you see the sample stages of the pipeline, stage 1, cloning the repository. This is Groovy scripting, guys. So DevOps people will write this CI/CD pipeline by using Groovy to automate our project build and deployment process. Stage 1, clone the repository. Here, I should write the logic for that. I should write the logic to clone the Git repository. Next one, doing the Maven build. I should write the logic to perform the Maven build. And here, I need to write the logic to build the Docker image. Here, I should write the logic to create the Docker container. Able to follow this? Now, fine. Let's go here. I want to clone Git repository. I want to clone the Git repository. What is the Groovy script to clone Git repository? Echo means just print the statement, remove it. I don't want echo statement. I want to write the Groovy script to clone my Git repository. We don't know how to write the Groovy script for that. Here, they have given one option called pipeline syntax. Go to pipeline syntax. What you want to do? I want to do a step with Git. Let me go here. There is an option called Git option will be available. Which repository you want to clone? Copy that code. Copy that code. What is the branch name? Main is the branch name. Do I need the credentials? I don't need the credential. Not required. Why not required? Public. Generate the pipeline script. So this is Groovy script which is used to clone the Git repository. Okay. Take this script and instead of echo, keep that. Instead of echo, keep that. Git branch main URL. So this stage will do the cloning of that. Okay. Next one. Once the cloning is completed, what is the next step? We need to do the Maven build. How to do the Maven build? sh. We are going to execute a command sh mvn clean package. So I want to execute a command to perform the Maven build. So for that mvn clean package, I want to execute this command by using shell. So I'm writing sh mvn clean package. Once the package got completed, what is the next step? We need to create a Docker image. What is the command for that? Docker build -t sbapp space dot. Sbapp space dot. It is used to create Docker image. Once a Docker image is created, what is the next step? What I need to do? sh docker run -d -p 8080:8080 image name sbapp. sbapp. So what will happen with this command? Container will be created. Sudo docker commands I'm going to execute by using sudo docker build -t spring boot application with a dot. Then sudo docker run -d -p 8080:8080 image name. What is the image name I'm giving? sbapp. This is called CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration and continuous deployment. So in this CI/CD pipeline, Groovy script we are using. Some people will use Groovy script. Some people will use a Python script also. Scripting we are going to use for the pipeline creation. So here, stage 1, clone the Git repository. Stage 2, do the Maven build. Stage 3, do the Docker image creation. Stage 4, create the container. Okay, click on apply, click on save. Now, I have modified my pipeline now with the actual logic. Earlier, when the pipeline executed first time, logic is not available. Now my pipeline is having the logic. Okay, let me run that. Build now. Second time we are running that. It will fail because pipeline is not correct. So what is the status of the pipeline? Where it failed? stage 1 got success, stage 2 got failed. Okay, go to the stage 2. You see which stage earlier all the stages got success. Now only first stage got success. What is the first stage? Clone the repository. Go to the build number, check the console output. So stage 1, cloning the project, running the Jenkins, no credentials specified, cloning the Git repository. Okay, skipping the change long, fine, perfect. Cloning got success. Then what it is trying to do? MVN clean package. What is the exception? MVN not found. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? In that machine, wherever we are executing that job, Maven is not available. But how previous job got executed successfully? Why not this job? In the previous job, we specified Maven as a global tool. Now we are executing job directly on the machine. So in the machine, it is checking Maven is available or not. Maven is not available. Maven we configured in the Jenkins as a global tool, but in the system, Maven is not available. Now you can solve this problem in 2 ways. You can solve this problem in 2 ways. So we got the problem. What is the problem? My pipeline having a stage called Maven build. So in the pipeline, I have written MVN clean package. So it is trying to execute this command, but in that machine, MVN is not found. MVN is not available. You can install Maven on the machine. It will solve the problem. Okay. Or else in the pipeline, you need to specify where the Maven is available. Maven is available in the Jenkins. In the Jenkins software, Maven is available. But in the Linux machine, where the Jenkins is running, in that Maven is not available. Are you guys able to follow this? Now, let me go for the solution for this. Connect to this machine, EC2 instance connect. I don't have key pair. That is in my personal laptop. Now, I'm directly doing connect. Okay. Now, go here. Without key pair, I connected directly from the browser. Now, let us check MVN-version. What it is saying? Maven is not available. So, can we install the Maven? How to install the Maven? Sudo apt install Maven. Sudo apt install Maven. Sudo apt install Maven. Yes, install it. Okay. So here I'm using apt package manager because it is a Ubuntu machine. Fine. Maven got installed successfully. Clear this. Now go here. MVN version. Maven is installed or not? Yes, Maven 3.6.3 version got installed. Can we run the job and try again? Can we run now? 2 times already we executed. Let me run the job 3rd time. Build now. Yes, I have started the build. Build number 3 started. First stage completed successfully. It is trying to perform second stage. Yes, what happened now? Second stage failed or success? Second stage got success. So earlier where it failed? Maven build. Now where it failed? Can we see what is the problem? Can we go here and check the console output? Okay. Git to clone previously also success. MVN clean package. Now Maven goal is executed or not? Maven goal is executed. Build success. Now what is happening here? What is happening here? Sudo docker build -t sbapp. A terminal is required to read the password. Either use -s option to read from the standard input or configure an ask pass helper. Sudo a password is required. So it is not able to execute that command. Container creation failed due to failure. All right. So first of all, in this machine, Docker is available. Do we have Docker here? Docker is not available. So to build the Docker image, what is required? First, we need to install the Docker. Okay, let me install the Docker. Let me install the Docker. Yes, let me install Docker, Jenkins Docker Kubernetes. Right. Set up the Docker in the Jenkins. Right. Take this command. I'm trying to install Docker. Installing Docker. Installing Docker software in the Linux machine in which Jenkins is running, because to build a Docker image, to run the Docker image, Docker software is required. I'm trying to install Docker. Yes. Next one, sudo user mode, add the Docker to Jenkins group. Done. Then sudo system ctl restart Jenkins. I'm restarting the Jenkins. Perfect. Jenkins got restarted. Now verify Docker version. Yes. Are we able to get the Docker version? 24 version is available. Docker Engine Community API version 1.43. Yes, with this we are able to set up the Docker. Perfect. Now let me go to my pipeline. Docker is available. Let me go to the pipeline. It is restarted, so I need to log in again. My username and password. Sign in. I'm able to log in to my machine. 3 times it failed already. Next one, run build now. 4th time our job is executing. First 2 stages will be successful because already they executed in the previous build number. Now we need to monitor 3rd stage and 4th stage. Build image, create container. Yeah, build image again failed. Go to the build number, console output, sudo docker build -t sb app. Terminal is required to read the password. Either use -s option to read from standard input or configure ask password helper. A password is required. Sudo docker build -t image name and file name. Why it is asking password? One minute. Yes. Perfect. Apply, save. Now run the job, build now. 5th time we are running the job. Guys, being a developer, if you know all these things, it is a very good advantage for you, because in the companies also 90% of the people don't know what will happen after the code is committed to the GitHub. So these all operations will done by DevOps engineers. Go to build number, it got hanged. Let us see. What is the meaning of pipeline? Pipeline is set of stages to perform build and deployment. Jenkins pipeline. Pipeline, nothing but set of stages. Pipeline, nothing but set of stages to automate build and deployment process. Okay. Jenkins pipeline we can write in two ways. Jenkins pipeline we can write in two ways. One is declarative pipeline. Next one is a scripted pipeline. Scripted pipeline, nothing but some Python scripting, Golang script, Groovy script, something like that we can use scripted pipeline. So Jenkins pipeline syntax. Jenkins pipeline syntax. So here pipeline, nothing but set of stages. So I have taken a pipeline with multiple stages, cloning the repo, doing the Maven build, build the Docker image and create the Docker container. Suppose if you have Kubernetes, here instead of using Docker run, I will use a kubectl apply command. Then it will deploy the application on the Kubernetes cluster. I think this job got hanged. Guys, machine is getting hanged. The reason it is 1 GB RAM, T2 micro instance. So the machine is very slow. Instance running, Jenkins VM, click on connect. Directly I'm connecting by using connect. Through web, I'm trying to connect with the machine. Or else let me stop and start the machine. I think machine got hanged. I'm stopping the instance in which our Jenkins is running. Jenkins VM is getting stopped. So the reason it is getting hang is memory is not sufficient. I'm running the Jenkins Docker in the same machine, so the memory is not sufficient. It is a T2 micro machine, 1 GB RAM will be available. So do you think that people will use T2 micro in the real time? No, not at all. These are the problems. Machine ran into the problem. Okay. It is not even stopped in the stopping state. All right, guys, now let me try to run this job again. Configure. Guys, the system is not supporting, it is getting hanged. So it is not able to complete the Maven build after Docker got installed. So it's better to execute the Docker with Jenkins integration. Better to go with T3 medium in T2 medium instead of T2 micro. So as we are using T2 micro, we are getting 1 GB RAM. That is not sufficient to run the Jenkins and Docker on the same machine. So that's why our builds got hanged in the middle. We are not able to complete the build process. See, Maven clean package got started, but it is unable to complete that. It got stuck in the middle. And the system is not responding, that cloud machine. Guys, when you are practicing this pipeline syntax, right? Don't go with the T2 micro, go with the T2 medium. If you go with the T2 medium, we will get more GB. Then we can run Jenkins and Docker. So now I can't do anything here. It got hanged. We need to create another machine for this. Pipeline job. Yeah. That Jenkins machine is not responding. No. Guys, it is not responding. I will make a video with the T3 medium, T2 medium instance. So it will give me around 2 GB RAM going to AMI. Instead of T2 micro, we will go with T2 medium. If I go for T2 medium, what is the benefit? 4 GB RAM. So today I will release one video, Jenkins, Docker, integration with Spring Boot deployment on T2 medium. Most probably by today evening I will send that. So you also create T2 medium instance, then set up Jenkins, then install Docker, then create CI/CD pipeline for that. The pipeline syntax I have given, but here we need to make some changes. What are the changes we need to do? Here we need to write git clone URL. How to generate that script? Pipeline syntax option is available, or else you can directly specify git clone repo URL. Repo URL. You can specify sh git clone. Git clone repository URL you have to specify. Here Maven build. What we need to do? MVN clean package. Here we need to build Docker image. How to do that? Docker build -t image namespace dot. Now here I need to run the Docker image. For that, we are going to specify Docker run -d -p 8080:8080 space image name. That's it. Like this. So we can do the Jenkins pipeline creation. So go to pipeline option and create the pipeline to do the build and deployment automation by using Jenkins. Jenkins plus Docker integration. Jenkins CI/CD pipeline with Docker. So Spring Boot application available in the GitHub. We will take that project. Then we will do packaging of that. Then we will build Docker image. Then we will run the container. So you take T2 medium instance and set up it. Here, create Ubuntu VM in the AWS cloud. We are going to take T2 medium. Why we are going for medium? Why not micro? Micro is giving only 1 GB RAM. We need minimum 2 GB or 3 GB RAM because Jenkins itself is a heavyweight software because a lot of UI is available. On top of the Jenkins, we installed a Docker. So 1 GB RAM is not sufficient. System is getting hang. So that's why go with T2 medium. It will give 4 GB RAM. These commands are used to install Jenkins, right? And let me give the commands to install Docker. So these are the commands which are used to install Docker, right? So Docker setup in Jenkins machine. Docker setup in Jenkins machine. Docker setup in the Jenkins machine. So connect to that machine, install Docker, right? Install Docker, add Jenkins user to the Docker group, then restart the Jenkins machine, verify the Docker installation. Once it is done, then you can create the Jenkins pipeline. So this is pipeline syntax. So in this, you change the repository URL. You can give your Git repository, or else you can give my Git repository URL, which I am using. Spring Boot application URL is available. In that URL, the Docker file is available, which is used to build Docker image for our application, right? Directly you can configure git clone repository URL. In that repository, we have Docker file. Same thing, if I want to deploy on the Kubernetes, then what we will do? This step will not be available. Here simply we are going to write kubectl apply -f YML. That manifest YML will be available in the Git repository. Instead of running the Docker container manually, we will execute kubectl command so that it is going to deploy our application in Kubernetes cluster, right? So can you guys complete pipeline setup today? Good. Jenkins with Docker pipeline setup. Kubernetes is not required because again we need to create the cluster. It will take a lot of time. So just remember, instead of this line, we will use kubectl command that will deploy our application on the Kubernetes cluster. Currently, we are running directly. You can go for a Docker compose also to deploy this. You can write the Docker compose YML. Here, you can execute a Docker compose up command. Then it is going to create the container by using Docker compose. Perfect. kubectl we have to install. Just a kubectl command, and we need to copy that cluster key will be there. That the key we need to configure in this machine. Then kubectl will send the request to the cluster. Only kubectl will run in the Jenkins machine. Cluster is separate, kubectl is separate. Good. Anybody having any questions on this process? Jenkins, you understand what is Jenkins? Why we are going for Jenkins? What is Jenkins? Why we are going for Jenkins? Jenkins is used to automate build and deployment process. What is build and deployment process? Taking the code from the Git project, package that project, do the code review, upload the artifact to the Nexus, then create the Docker image, then deploy the application on the cluster. Instead of we are doing that process manually, we are going to automate that process. If you want to see the real CI/CD pipeline creation. In the DevOps batch, I explained that pipeline. So if you go to our popular videos, DevOps project setup, 1 hour 20 minutes, I explained Jenkins project, CI/CD pipeline. In that pipeline, that is the second video in the row. DevOps project setup, how DevOps people will write the pipeline to do the complete CI/CD pipeline, I have explained. In this pipeline, we have taken the code from the GitHub. We done the code review by using Sonar. We uploaded the artifact into Nexus repository. Then we deployed that WAR file into Tomcat server. So that application is not Spring Boot application, normal Java web application, right? So for that, we need to set up manual Tomcat server. From Jenkins, we have taken the code from GitHub, then do the review by using Sonar, do the artifact upload to the Nexus, deploy the WAR file into server. Jenkins is in one machine, Sonar Cube is in one machine, Nexus repository one machine, Tomcat one machine. So total 4 virtual machines we have taken to set up the Jenkins project, DevOps project. In the real time, how DevOps engineers will build automation, that explained in that video. But for the developer, that level is not required. You will get confused, right? So complete CI/CD pipeline we have to write. 50-60 lines of pipeline will be available. So here, whatever the pipeline we created, this is different pipeline. In this pipeline, what we are doing, taking the code from the GitHub, packaging using Maven, and Docker image creation, and creating the Docker container. That's it. Very simple pipeline we are taking. Suppose if I want to use a Kubernetes in this process, what we will do? Just we will take the kubectl in the Jenkins machine. We will execute kubectl command with the YML file. Then the Docker image will be deployed on the Kubernetes cluster as a pod. Then we need to expose the pod by using service to access outside of the cluster. So once we access that by using load balancer, URL will be mapped to domain name by using Route 53. Then the domain name we will give to the customer. This is your application. That is project delivery process. Good. So I want you people to practice this Jenkins pipeline creation, guys. In the notes, Jenkins setup I have given, then Docker setup in the same machine I have given. You can install the Maven, then write the pipeline, do the build automation by using Jenkins. Good. Online people, any questions, anyone? Online students, anybody having any questions? And almost all the tools completed. One JMeter is pending. We will discuss the JMeter tool. After that, what is the project status? BI, leave the BI, remaining modules up to CO. Done. 1% done. Done. Next. Remaining people. When you will complete that? Completed. Enki completed. What about you guys? When you guys will complete? When you guys will complete that? How many more days you need to develop 5 REST APIs? Tomorrow I want to check that. So tomorrow all of you bring your laptops and show me how many APIs that you have completed. Okay. So based on that, next drive will be there. How many APIs that you have completed, based on that you will go for the interview. And what's going on in the Angular class? Angular project creation. TypeScript completed? TypeScript is nothing. It's just a basic Java. If you know Java, then you can work with TypeScript. So here we'll declare the data type before, there we'll declare data type after the variable. So import statement, all the whoops concepts will be there in the TypeScript. The only thing, transpilation. That TypeScript file will be converted to JavaScript file. That will happen internally. So the complete Angular project code we are going to write in the TypeScript only. ng new app creation, ng run. I think all of you are able to create the Angular projects. Good. Fine, guys. With this, I'm stopping. Guys, if anybody has not practiced, not developed major project, please take it seriously and work on it. If you sit 2 hours, you can complete one API. It's not a big deal, but I don't know why you are not doing that. So that's important. Tomorrow, when you go for interview, you should have something to show them. In my course, I have developed this project using microservices. I have deployed my project by using Jenkins pipeline. This is my Jenkins pipeline. This is my GitHub repository. So this is my Docker Hub account. I created Docker images. Practically, you need to show them, this is what I have learned in the training. So based on that, they will offer you the jobs. Thank you. We'll continue tomorrow.